Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there was sound. Yes, thank you.
So, that's one way of calling attention to what's going to be happening in a few minutes. Here we are at the last stop on the train that took us all the way through the poetry walk today. We have tonight Avacha, who was born in New York City, but she's been a Bay Area resident since the early 70s. As a musician, she's performed with Betty Carter, Ross Moulton Kirk, John Handy, and Terry Garfield. That's just to name a few. And has performed as a musician in many venues. And shared the stage also as a poet with the likes of Janice Miragitani, Diane Pat Parker. She also formed her Latin jazz ensemble, Avacha and Mokuque, which was the...
Yes, thank you.
I was worried. And her band was the Bay Area Blues Society's Jazz Group of the Year in 2005 and 2010. They perform regularly around Bay Area and beyond. She's the founder and director of the Clean Scene Theater Project. She teaches creative writing, drama, and storytelling in public schools. And you know, I hear she throws fantastic birthday parties. Everybody comes.
We have to work on it.
And she's here this evening with Shirley Kazuya Morimoto, who is a native of Oakland. She's a master of Japanese photo music. She's been studying since girlhood, and she received training with many masters, among which was her own mother. And she also went to study in Japan and received her training from the Chikushi School in Fukuoka, Japan. She's been in a variety of styles that she's mastered and has performed in various universities, conferences, and events in the U.S., Canada, and Japan, and has included performances for such dignitaries as San Francisco Mayor Gordon Brown, Secretary of State George Shultz, Vice President Al Gore, and Mikhail Gorbachev. So, you know, we are honored to have them begin, and then after they've done their performance, I'll give you a little housekeeping there. But let's just dive right in. Please welcome.
It's really an honor to be here. I love the Petaluma Poetry Walk, whether I'm one of the performers or not. It is the thing I wait all year long for. And I'm so honored to be here again. And Shirley Kazuya Morimoto is no joke, as you will soon find out. Serious musician. She and her son are two of my favorite musicians, and that handsome man over there, her husband, with their whole family, is some of my favorite people. So I came to have fun, and hopefully you did too. I'm not a belter. So those folks who want to talk, please keep it down, because I'm not a belter. I don't have one of those Aretha Franklin type voices. I'm one of the quiet, sophisticated, suave New Yorkers, right? Wow. What, so talk about wagging my own tail. But anyway, as the kind lady said, our group, we got the Jazz Group of the Year. We got our CD live at Yoshi's. If anybody's interested, after you hear us, it's $12. Please buy one so I don't have to carry any home. And with that, I'm going to start, because we only have 20 minutes to do what we do. My feet stand in dreams, run circles around the lakes in my mind, climb tropical hillsides inside forests, hidden behind the tenements, and dance all sweaty. A passionate urban exorcism wrapped in Cortijo magic. My feet swim through concrete and drink the wind. They sing low-down blues tunes and play with jazz bands. My feet are poems, 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 and every inch on my road a chant. I say a sacred inspiration, a song, and with every step I take, I create and create and create and create and create and create. gigs as a musician were for dances. I still work for a lot of dances. I work with the Amanapora West African Dance Company, Dimensions Dance Theater, Lines, whoever will hire me. And I write a lot about dances. This is called Cosmic Soulmates. It's for Alicia Pierce, Elio Pomari, Silvia Del Villar, Pearl Primus, Gregory Hines, Catherine Dunham, whose truths are clothed in dance. Time is a dancer, moving shamelessly through the cosmos. The wise hear the pull in their bones and become willing partners, trying always to follow the lead of the inexplicable forces which propel the mystical beauty of its truth on its journey. Time is a dancer moving, proudly moving, flowing, eternally cognizant that the alternative is a guaranteed voyage into the annals of obscurity, a nowhere land, where even time forgets to dance. Time is a dance, time is a dance. Dance. Sure. Give her a hand. I am very honored to say I have a book coming out pretty soon. That other handsome gentleman over there who's working that camera back there is producing the book on Torian Press. Myself and a wonderful artist, musician called Eliza Scheffler. We got a book called With Every Step I Take. And so please look for it when it comes out, and it should be out soon. Folks who know me know I'm a blues fanatic. I like storytelling music. And so whether it's jazz or music latina or calypso or blues, I like storytelling music. Ooh, baby, baby, just lost my baby while I was messing with your baby. Never did anything for me. If it doesn't have something to say, if it hasn't got a story to tell, I'm not interested. And so the kind of blues that I like, you know, I shouldn't say the kind of blues I'm fanatically in love with, is Delta blues, the Mississippi blues. Chicago blues is nice, Kansas City blues is nice, Oakland blues is nice, you know, the Richmond blues is nice, but the Delta blues, that everybody knows that riff and they swear that it came out of slavery, that that came straight out of Mali. Before they realize if you put too many folks together that speak the same language, you will get your behind whipped. They dumped them all in the Delta. And that's where that comes from. And if you go to the music from Mali, you'll hear the same music played. If you don't believe me, this Ali Fatakotone, there's a whole bunch of musicians from Mali. You can hear that same exact thing. But there is praise music. It's music to celebrate your wedding or the birth of a child. When you pick enough cotton or chop enough sugar cane, get your behind whipped enough, you'll be moaning too. So, but I love that sound, and I love the slow power of that. So. Nasty. I like slow, nasty blues. I never heard blues here in Koto. And I think we're more related than most people realize. The same chord pattern, the same color, you know, structure and scales they got in Japan. Oaktown Blue, the history of West Oakland at its heyday. They came on foot, by car, riding hope on horseback, by train on the plain. They came wearing faith, pockets full of dreams, running from cotton fields and chopping cane. They came running, knowing better was waiting. Carrying their whole lives in paper bags, carrying guitars on their back, sacks full of tall tales and blues songs from a home they knew they'd always miss but swore they'd never go back to. They came by a ship, discharged scars, wounds no time could heal, released from military hospitals on West Coast shores they'd never even seen. Battle fatigue, confused, feeling used, and they came in droves from the war, shell-shocked and tired and looking for a home. And when they didn't find it, they built it. On any night in West Oakland, you might run into migrant workers straight out the cotton fields of Georgia, strutting their stuff and partying and bumping and grinding alongside of armies of ditch diggers, tradespeople, and unemployed PhDs who were never told they were unemployable. Saints and sinners from Texas and Mississippi, from Arkansas and Virginia, Maryland, the Carolinas, and even the West Indies, all dancing away their rage and sadness hidden behind memories of cotton and buried beneath too many mountains of sugar cane and tobacco leaves, a frustrated fury gladly forgotten and left behind to rot in deserted plantation fields. And so you could hear the relief in the clubs as Big Mama Thornton took her crown and gave Oakland everything, everything. Woman gave us everything she wasn't allowed to give in the South. John the Hooker brought the boogie out the Delta, and Bob Giddens, Ivor Joe Hunter, and Charles Brown gave us smooth. You go right down the street, get yourself some of Beverly Stovall, Sonny Rhodes, Jimmy McCracklin, J.J. Malone, or the sophisticated sweetness of Jimmy Witherspoon, and the raw passion and L.C. Good Rockin' Robinson's blues violin, or get your insides ripped out and put back together again as Etta James and Sugar Pie DeSanto toured the roof off the house. The blues didn't just slip into the Bay Area. It was like a cloud burst. The blues came in waves, powerful waves, waves as subtle as a tidal wave. And his pop sport evening gowns and three-piece suits became furious, luxuriant, jubilant, overworked, and underpaid. Running from the Klan, holding on to everything they had, while others just looking for something to hold on to. The blues came west looking for freedom land. LA, Sacramento, and San Francisco had their big city thing. Folks rocked in Russell City, Vallejo hadn't seen Richmond, a kind of smooth, Chi-town sounding thing. But if you wanted a gut-wrenching, soul-taking, down-home blues, said the kind of church and your mama both warned you about, the kind of blues that made your hair stand on out and you snatch you out of chairs and made you shout and jump like a fool and dance like you know, makes you want to holler kind of blues. You have to come to Oakland. I say Oakland. Oakland, the blues mecca of the West Coast. Seemed as wild and sophisticated as you were. Every place a different personality, and every night was party night where you could romance and grind, or whine and cry about what you didn't have, or brag and be loud and proud and show off everything you did have, and talk about everything you wanted to be at Slim Jenkins Club, Esther's Orbit's Room, Ruthie's Inner Elon's Mile High. Every night an exorcism where another demon was put to rest, where you were free to be real and be downright nasty. You could show your stuff till you were wet with sweat. At the Rum Boogie, Christie's Grill, the Palladium Club, and all the nameless hidden round-the-clock juke joints and the blues that came down like rain. It fell down on everything, fell down on Oakland where blues was king, and then they came. I said they came and knocked down the cafes. They tore up 7th Street. They closed the clubs. They promised jobs and schools to uplift and save, and they took the hood and left a wasteland full of restless spirits. Ghosts running loose with plenty of reasons to sing the blues. But when everyone else goes to sleep, you can still hear them. J.C. Burris, Dottie Ivory, Z.Z. Hill, Mississippi Johnny Waters, hear them singing. Their sounds written all over every building that seeps them out of the ground. You walk on, it's yours. Little Johnny Taylor, Johnny Horseman, Percy Mayfield, listen. I said, listen, they tried to free you. They tried to heal you with their blues so strong, even Willie Bobo was singing Never Go Back to Georgia. Buddy Ace, Little Willie John, Cool Papa Sadler, Brownie McGee, Lady Margaret, Lord Folsom, they'll always be here. They refuse to disappear. Nothing can stop it. Gentrifiers can't block it. The same folks that dance from the blues scene into the mambo sessions and back into the California Hotel now run the Dorsey's, Locker Bluesville, Sweet Jimmy's, and the Fifth Amendment. The same people and their children are bringing in a new Queen Ida. She came stepping out the bayou, leading the Zydeco parade. Sugar Pie DeSanto and John Lee Hooker never grow old and still ride on top of our totem pole. There's Lady Bianca and Jesse James, E.C. Scott and Al Vaughn, Sister Monica, Bobby Webb, and Gwen Avery, Little Frankie Lee, and Billy Dunn, Wiley Trash, Faye Carroll, Willie G, Frankie Kelly, Johnny Talbot, Ronnie Stewart, leading the caravan of all-stars into tomorrow. It's in the air we breathe, and it just keeps on coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming, and nothing and nobody can stop it. Other folks will keep their big heads stuck way up in the clouds, but when it all comes back down to earth, the prize is ours, and it's our jewel, and it's still coming down. Old Town Blues. Play the blues, Shirley. Keeps on coming and 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 coming. Those folks keep their big heads stuck way up in the clouds, but when it all comes back down to earth, the prize is ours and it's our jewel, and it keeps coming down. Old Town Blue. They call the island in the city, and our language, the main language there is Spanglish. You'll get the message in this poem if you don't speak one word of Spanish. There's only one word, unless you're an old Black Rican, that might be hard for you to get, and that's fulinga, which is basically an old Black Puerto Rican curse word, and literally means they had in the pantheon of hell, the lowest rung of hell. Oh, here goes all my family. Hey, Kim. And the lowest rung of hell was a hell made up of human caca, which you know what that is, so I won't go any further. And this poem, as a musician, we get home real late. And sometimes I come home 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm 70 going on 700, and that makes me a walking target. When you start getting out your car with a couple of $100 worth of instruments. And so there's always these little 9, 10, 11-year-old kids on the street in every neighborhood that I live in, and I had to find a way to literally win them. So I wrote them a love poem, and this is the poem I wrote, and I'm glad to say at work they became my greatest protectors. And it's called Street Children in the Night, para los chiquititos en la noche en cualquier lugar. Black and brown children in the night, que ya no saben nada de jugar, mis niñitos de la calle, queridos bordelitos whose ideas of having fun got swallowed by the darkness. If I could, I would wrap you in sunshine, I would hold you close and fold you in these arms, and caress whatever's left of the child in you with lullabies. I would like to convey every injured inch of you with home-cooked self-esteem, cover you, and with that self-esteem invested in the fill my confidence, I want to fill the hole that hurt dug. Take my hand, and I feel defiantly, I'd swim with you defiantly through the fires of hell, and with you through the moonglare of disrespect of a hard-headed kind of lady, and I just can't see myself giving up with you. Somos lo que somos, you and I, para nosotros somos todo lo que hay. We fuse together by history, por lo bonito y los sueños robados. Locked spiritually in the maze of our destiny. Oye, mis negritos, mis pequeños callejeros, los necesito. The truth is, I know I need you. Yo sin ti soy nada. And if I had a chance, I'd refuse to turn you loose till you were so in love with yourself that self-destruction would disintegrate under the pressure of your presence. And you were so secure in my love for you, and so sure of the splendor you had become that even the sun would lay down his arrogance just to get a chance to reflect the brilliance of your essence and bask in the bold truth of your integrity. And think, vive la verdad real, y yo sin ti no existe ni un sendero de la esperanza. Oh, say, can they see you, my beautiful wild lotus flowers? If I could, I'd bathe you in a sea of rose water. I'd convert your waves of pain into an ocean of pride and faith. Y yo te pido, dame un chance. Please, please, please let me in. I promise to do the very best I can, even if I have to wake the dead and conjure up our ancestors' breath. I'm not too proud to act a fool, get down on my knees and holler and scream and beg of the spirits of goodness to intervene, to beg and go away the fog of dismay and distrust, pasante mi canto lágrimas, and dissipate the rage burning behind your eyes. So together we could wash away the centuries of emasculating doubt and defeminizing lies, and have a little fun and learn to play a brand new game called Demolishing Walls of Self-Hate. Children of the night, mis niñitos de la calle, I want the stubbornness of my love to help you turn on all the lights inside your soul. Tú eres mi sangre. I will not allow the streets of any city to steal you. You like a lotus blossoming in the night, mis queriditas, alma de mi existencia. I will not let the cesspool of Fulinga make a fast food happy meal of your dreams. Chiquito de la esquina, you are our only wealth. You are the most beautiful part of me, and I'm not about to let you go. I will not permit the hungry stupidity of greed to feed you to the streets without putting up a fight. Amorcito perdido de la noche. If I could, I would pave your path with stardust and massage your mind with a steady diet of just how important you really are. Make sure you know you're too damn important that the world just throw you away. It's my job to remind you on a daily basis this crazy old lady is here to stay. I'm still here, staying and praying and praying and staying and staying and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying. You let me in, mi cielito negritito de la noche. I'm talking to you. Can you even hear me? It's all tomorrows that you're throwing away. Queridos niñitos de la calle, I'm still waiting. A stubborn old lady with a heart full of love, standing in the shadows and waiting on who you could be. Waiting for you to finally see me, waiting to wrap you in a blanket of sunshine. This one, she does this beautiful tune, and I hope I say it correctly because I know the last time I said it wrong. Rokudan, is that right? Okay, Rokudan, a beautiful Japanese traditional piece. And then we're going to come in a thing that I wrote about El Yunque, the rainforest in Puerto Rico. And what do they have to do with each other outside of beauty? Well, a lot of things. Rainforests have something to do with everybody in this room. Tropical rainforests produce 90% of the medicine you take, 70% of the oxygen that you need to breathe. We can't live without it. We used to have 2 tropical rainforests near you, very close to you. Both of them are gone. One was in Louisiana, and the other one was, where did they say it was? I think it was Florida, I'm not sure. Now the closest one to you is Hawaii. Then you got to go down to Big Mama, the Amazon, and what have you. And there's a few tropical rainforests still left, but they're chopping down. Every minute that I've talked up here, another 100 acres is going, which ain't no big thing if you don't need to breathe. So if you have any consciousness whatsoever, the next time you hear somebody talking about saving the rainforest, please do what you can. So we're going to do both of these pieces, and I want to thank you one more time for your ears. If you're interested in CDs, I'm going to be sitting listening because I can't go anywhere before I hear my friend Kim and some others. So I'll be sitting there, the 12 bucks, so please buy them. Don't maybe take them home. And thank you for having me. And please support this every single year. This is the only town I know of where a whole town turns into poetry once a year. Give Petaluma a hand. Yes! El yunque, jardín de esperanza donde vive el alma boricua, el alma de la perla del Caribe. El señor gringo, he always listens, but never stops to listen to the rain, to hear the magic. Ay, the magic. El yunque grita con sangre de las flores, el llanto del cookie they came. Suffering acute gringo-itis in the bank account. They will never know El Yunque is more than just another rainforest, more than just another beautiful locale, more than just one more romantic locale made for bulletproof hamburgers, McDonald's, bulletproof hamburgers, Boricua. Have you ever really stopped and listened to the rain? The magic, ay, El Yunque. El Yunque sagrado, oración de la lluvia, corazón de la tierra, pesadilla de los yanquis. Listen, Boricua, listen to the rain. Let her whisper in your ears. Let her shower you with pride. Let her overwhelm you with her beauty. El Yunque is nature's declaration of independence. Let the rhythm of the rain burn like fire in your blood. And listen, Boricua. Listen to the rain, Boricua. Have you ever really stopped and listened to the rain, Boricua? Listen to the rain, Boricua. Listen to the rain. Ay, el sonido musical de la lluvia en Boricua. Listen. El sonido sagrado de la lluvia. Listen. Listen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now that was about half of that poem, but if you want to get the rest, you can buy the book. I'm trying to stay in time. Thank you so much. And please support Petaluma Poetry Walk. Come on, give Shirley another hand. I just love that poem.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. How many successful writers and musicians do you know who also run successful businesses? Longtime Bay Area resident Jim Marks has written and published many books, including Flashback, which is collected poems, Authentic Imaginations, and Can't Hold My Tongue in Captivity. As an active jazz drummer, Jim has played with Pony Poindexter and George Duke at Jimbo's Club in San Francisco, and he's had the opportunity to sit in with John Handy, James Moody, and Dexter Gordon, just to name a few. And apparently, his barbering business is growing strong because he sounds good and he sure looks good. And let's welcome Jim Marks.
Well, I'm different. Can't you tell? Wow. It's a groovy town. I wouldn't want to wear that on my way up here. It was like, Petaluma, what's that? I came from the world of jazz. I front my jazz quartet. I've appeared at Yoshi's, I've appeared at Bach Dance and Dynamite Society, to name a few. I'm a jazz drummer. And I'll be brief because I understand we got to close. My work, a lot of my work deals with music and players that I have personally been fortunate enough to perform with or hang out with. And so I hope that works for you. I'm forever trying to tell somebody who I am, but I'm getting kind of tired of explaining. Only one more time will I attempt to persuade, because I'm risking the danger of not being in harmony with your ear, and maybe I overwatched that. When I was just a kid, I married my soul, and my body became the best man. I fought the world, and every man knew they were in a battle, and then the depths had enlarged my tongue. I've created a holy city, and I've walked many days and nights in the path of loneliness. I've listened in a silent way to Philly the Kilimanjaro. I've froze Captain Zero and made his tongue explode. Drew wisdom from Einstein and Karl Marx, injected into Andy Gunn. And now, maybe I should raise your hand, bless it with gold, before you can see the hot rhythm and magic that's floating around in my soul. Really, ego, oh, watch that. This is the blues. The blues. I started with the blues. You know, the shuffle in the clubs, in the smoking nightclubs. Jimmy McCracklin, good to see you, L.C. Robertson, Hunters Point. And I came up with this just as honor of the blues. Mopo blues. The blues is a feeling that's gone bad. The blues is losing something that you had. The blues will come at you at night or any way, or any day around you, just any old way. The blues will make you moan, scream, and shout. Even you white people know what the blues is all about. You know, the blues ain't nothing but a feeling that's gone bad. And if you've ever had the blues, you'll know what you've had. You see, there's a new blues, the old blues, the whole blues, the gold blues, the dress up no dough blues, the come blues, which the last time you had some blues. The who got your woman blues, for real I know how you feel blues, the backdoor blues, the poor blues, the food blues, the cool blues, when you gonna get some blues, bullshit got to have blues, city blues, the country blues, ain't got nothing but your blues ass, the sophisticated blues, all I want is your money blues, Miles Davis, all blues. You see, the blues ain't nothing but a feeling, just gone bad. If you've ever had the blues, you'll know what you've had. The blues will fly in your window, light on your table and say, give me that meat. Blues will come at you at night in any kind of way. They'll snatch a pillow from under your head and make you wish you was dead. You see, the blues ain't nothing but a feeling, just gone bad. If you've ever had the blues, you'll know what you've had. You see, the blues is subconscious, the blues is inconscious, the blues is no conscious, the blues is news and blues. The blues is when your woman got another man and she won't tell you because she don't think you'd understand. You see, the blues ain't nothing but a feeling that's just gone bad. If you've ever had the blues, you know damn well what you've had. All right. Let's stay with the blues. Yeah. Let's rock the blues. Bad news, Mr. Blues. Bad news. With your stretched stockings and your generated news. So you've been a disease, leaving my mind confused. I says, farewell, announcing your name. And now, yes, I've had some, and you know, I know damn well where you're coming from. You see, you come at me, Mr. Blues, you changed me from a man to a something like that. And you and I know what I was, and I didn't know what I was wearing, because that was the blues. You see, Mr. Blues, you don't need me, and I don't need you. Mr. Blues, go run your game on a fine brand. You see, the blues are like the ocean running from the sea. I don't need the blues, and the blues don't need me. You're a pimp, you pimp my mind. Why you laid bad dreams over at night? Move on, Mr. Blues. Get inside your position. I've had a mental transition, Mr. Blues. What the problem is? Food blues ain't no news. I got my news. I'm the blues. Okay, how much more time do I have? Yeah, you know, y'all have me come all the way up here now. I drove for 4 days trying to get here. I've been here like 6 hours. And I haven't seen one African American in this town. Scared the hell out of me. But then I met so many beautiful people on the street, and I got lost, and I kept asking them questions about how do I get whatever. And it was so beautiful, I said, it's all right, shit, it's cool to be here, you know, only one, that's all right. So I haven't had no problem at all. Get serious.
Good time.
That's hard for me. When I was playing a long time ago, when I was younger, I played with a bass player. His name was Dewey, and he was a heroin addict. He was my best friend in the band. He was my roommate. You know, when you're on the road, you always got a roommate. And I was there when he OD'd and died. From the serious nature, I wrote this poem about him, and I also did an album with this poem in it, and I wrote the music as well. I'm also a music composer too, so I put it all together. This is titled Eulogy for Dewey. And oh, I remember voices drifting and echoing like birds singing, shaped in blues and jazz, clutching time, rhythm, freeing bodies from magic and moon. An old spirit mind living in blues, and jazz lovers living in mushroom clouds, dreaming of sleepy dark skies, miles away from grinding stars. When bebop members and Saturday's poets become yesterday's world, we may read new poems, poems of wisdom, new as miles, pursuing wisdom of Bird and Lester. Beyond this planet, they blew love and voices into the earth, and I remember Bird and Moody and Diz knew him as many fainting substance took him, and a million mornings went along. And oh, Dewey, you too are with the kings and queens of jazz inventions. And Billie Holiday moaned the memories of music and morning blues. Nights blowing and shooting smack, I knew all of it, Dewey. The moans and screams waiting for the white ghost shaped like a real person. And oh, the secret loves of unchanged fire, casting shadows of paintings on the wall. And oh, the goddamn rent. And oh, I tried, Dewey. I tried so hard, Dewey. But it was too late for you. It was the last fix that did it. Or maybe the fix before that. We had long conversations only 2 days before it happened, remember, Dewey? We rapped about needles, and we rapped about Billy. We rapped about ODs. Yes, ODs, Dewey. The aching truth, the yelling upstairs, the greasy spoons, the dirty floors, the unwiped tables, the smell after the rain, and oh, you remember. The murder has killed, Dewey. The murder has killed. I hope they catch him before he kills again. And oh, yes, Dewey, remember Archie? Archie kicked. Pale nights. Remember Archie? He lived down the hall. We should play some wild sounds together, me and you, Dewey. You and me. Like a glove in the hand. Everything is everything now, Dewey. Stories giving life, and life giving stories. And oh yes, Dewey, I kicked. Y'all know how hard that is, don't you? And by the way, let me explain something to you. I didn't use heroin. When I say I kicked, that was mean I kicked the spirit of him. That he died and I couldn't save him, but I got over it. So I kicked. I wasn't on heroin. I just want to make sure, because I read this poem in New York and somebody said, "Who?" And I had about 12 guys lined up to talk to me. Man, how'd you get off of heroin? No, man, I was not on heroin. I smoked some weed though. But jazz is the music of the world. Jazz is not written, composers know that, and singers know that, and bands know that. Jazz is an arm, jazz in a toe, jazz in the heart, jazz in the mouth, jazz in the foot, warm vibration, jazz is in the head. Jazz is in the sound. Blow, 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 yeah. Spin administration fires your mind. Swing Duke, swing Ella, don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Global Miles, the Dark Prince of Jazz, and Trick Webb had the boogie, and Buddy Rich and Joe Jones played boogie, and that was also jazz. Diz and Parker is bebop, but Parker's dead. Jazz live. Jazz is colorless. Jazz is paying your dues. Train dead, West dead, Winnie Apple Blue. Love is a supreme. Jazz is no dope. Jazz is ourselves. Help us play the music of the world. Jazz sleep, jazz eat, jazz live. Jazz is the music of the world. Beethoven played jazz and Coleman Hawkins blew until he was 62. And America adopted Danny Louis Armstrong, and a white Dixieland player played jazz in New Orleans. Bennett Goodman blew jazz in Russia. Jazz ain't dead. Jazz is colorless. Jazz is paying your dues. Jazz is ourselves. It's what the artist is playing and not playing. It's what the listener is hearing and not hearing. Bitches grew in a solid way. Gene Ammon, Freddie Hubbard, J.J. Johnson, Jimmy Smith, Theon Smart. Jazz is not inferior. Jazz is listening or not listening. Jazz is the music of the world. You all? You know, I'm going to end with this one.
You have 6 minutes.
You're so kind. The last one told me I had 6 minutes, I just quit. I just quit before then.
No.
Oh, I got 6 minutes?
More, yeah.
Oh! Okay. Okay, this poem is very special to me. And I have dedicated it, and also I have predicated it, and indicated it, and supplicated, and read it too by a special lady of mine who's here with me, Bernice. She's my guide because I get lost a lot. I would have never made it here without her. And I had GP, EP, DP, and went on the computer. And I still didn't know where the hell I was going. So she's responsible for me being here. Yeah, I just roll like that. This is titled, You Got to Have Your Heart on Fire. Dance, that invisible dance. But don't be afraid of what the atmosphere is creating for you. Travel through the sky. Oh, you got to have your heart on fire. Snap your finger. Turn your thumb inward before you sing. You must build a mission for those who want to see your beautiful face. Keep it urge to be like a butterfly. Oh, but baby, you got to have your heart on fire. Move like the river and keep the light shining in your eyes. Look for the middle of nowhere. Some will never see you try. Oh, baby. As Barry White said, come on, baby. I want you to have your heart on fire. Thank you. Thank you, David. David, I met David a couple of years ago, and he and I have been tight. He always invite me, and I love David. So thank you for thinking of me. And Jerry, first time I met you, thank you too. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
good to me, and I'll bring my quartet and put it right here. Love. We talk about love. You know, love is a abused word. It's a misused word. It's a word we use a lot. You know, we love everybody. You know, we love our enemies. We love folks who run over us. We love people who give us bad service. We just say, I love him. I love him. Just love. And I wrote a poem one time entitled, "If love is like we said it is, why the hell aren't we spread it around?" But this ain't the poem that says that. This is something else. This is about rocket science. This poem is titled, "Love is not a rocket science." Love is an abused word. Love is a misused word. Love can be dysfunctional word. Love is often unheard, but love is also heard. Love is naked-minded. It will stick to you and make it sound like somebody's in your business. Love may say hello, then goodbye after midnight of sweet loving and warm breath and a tinted body shaped in delight. Love is passionate. Love is splashed in a vacant bed. Love is sometimes exhausting under a blanket of memories after squalling around in your face and tears running down your face. Love is wetness, thirsty. Love is appetizing. But you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know when you're not being loved.
Surely, Kazuo Murakomoto, a hand, please. And I need to let you know that if you're hungry, you got 10 minutes to put an order in. The kitchen closes at 7, and if you're thirsty, the bar closes at 8. So some of you have noticed that there's a tip jar that's been going around, or I don't know, it's almost like a tennis ball can, something tall. Volleyball can. They can hold a lot of money. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the Poetry Walk donation jar. Do not be afraid. And in fact, even though you may have actually been asked many times before to this moment not to be afraid of it and to give, there's a price for everything. And to be able to sit here tonight together on an evening such as this, a lot of people had to work really, really hard to get there. And actually a lot of this money goes not, surprisingly enough, not into the pockets of Jerry DiGiorno. No, she tries to help pay the poets, things like that. So again, if you can afford to be generous, and also while we're at it, while we're talking money, don't be afraid to recognize the efforts of our AQUIS staff here. John Crowley of AQUIS donates his space. And his staff works really hard. And as people have said before, there are books for sale, and again, let me tempt you with this fabulous Poetry Walk t-shirt. 20 bucks. Okay? See, look, you can look as good as Jerry. Okay? So you can be twins. Okay? Next year we can all show up together. Did you need to say something? All right.
Me now? Oh, well, bless my soul.
Okay. We're very well organized here.
It came to my attention that the ceremony is about to begin. So let me get an invocation, and we'll have a couple of Indian poets read some stuff. Hey. Well, it appears that the tremolos of the day are starting to mellow out into the cracks of the world. The sundown, the dusk. The perfect time. So to quote my old pal Morrison, a good friend of mine, by the way, is everybody in? Is everybody in?
Yeah.
The ceremony is about to begin. An invocation. We have to make things always very proper. From the west, I beckon the thunder beings. Out of the lair of the spirit, the Wakiyans come on the wind and move amongst the good people. Joining in the celebration, which is life that moves like a snake, the grandfathers will announce their presence. And bending lightning as arrows striking, the waters stand, blessings for this sun dance. The warriors dance, the people will have visions. It comes upon all the seers as eagles, pointing the way to the red road. Sing, sing in thanksgiving that the people will have long life. It's just an invocation. We are happy to clap for our personal existences, and maybe one of these days we'll all get the word that there ain't no time to waste with death looking at you in the face all day long. Want to talk about Luke Skywalker and Kim Shuck? The people, just like you all are. Luke has a book out with 3 other poets. It's called 4 Sioux Poets, Shedding Skins. I've managed to read it, and I am happy to announce that there's a lot of spirit in all 4 of their words. The first poet, the first singer, the first chanter will be Kim Shuck. And I'm going to read the bio from the pamphlet, which I'm sure that all of you have read, and if you haven't, then you're negligent. Kim Shuck is a writer. Tashunka. The horsewoman. It's funny how that stuff happens, Kim. Is a writer, visual artist, curator, frustrated mom, and recovering sarcastic. Her first solo book of poetry, Smuggling Cherokee, the Tahlequah, beautiful, was published by Greenfield Review Press in 2005. Recent work has been included in the anthologies New Poets of the American West, and I Was an Indian. Kim, step on up, honey. I've been told to grant you 15 Earth minutes. You keep track of it.
Everybody having a good evening?
Yes.
That was very quiet. We're all tired from having listened to a lot of good poetry today, so it's very quiet. That's okay. I brought people. Thank you. I haven't quite given up that whole shedding objects thing that parents do. I got it. The last time I read with Luke was about a month ago. We ended up in the back room of a bar in the Tenderloin of San Francisco. And I found myself reading to a room full of men while I was wearing uncomfortable shoes, holding onto a pole. And I started believing I understood why my parents were a little disappointed in some of my choices. This is a slightly higher on the scale bar, so mostly Askitska. Who said you get to stop making creation stories, Zushua? Stand under the glass, fully explained. Atsitsond. Somewhere grandmothers are rubbing warm air together to call you, to call the thinkers, to remind you. Dip hands in hazel milk, Degusti. Untangle the threads, remind you. Pick handfuls of onion, remind you. As spice has to remind leaves once in a while, that breath of warm air, that ache of hazel scent, the crush of weaving. Thinkers, remember who you are. Clouds running in. Sullen and slow these battles along the arteries, in the veins. It's calculated drop by drop, that's how it always worked. And they hope they can slice it finer than their science can calculate because they don't really want to know the answers. Soon they'll drop another bomb on Nueva Segovia, starve more impounded horses to death. Our sacred food isn't the same. We're made of different stuff, you and I, but I will sing these Shelu songs that I can remember. It could be too much fire underground or too much water, but either way, we need an ear to it. Deliberate ignorance is complicity. I only believe in forgiveness in the moment before the next attack, and sometimes there isn't time for it. People drown in the desert. That's not a metaphor for social change, by the way. It's a matter of water doing water things. Try not to walk in the dry wash because it doesn't stay dry. It's not raining yet, but can you hear the clouds running in? That was actually for the Cherokee Nation, my people, who have made a number of incredibly bad decisions recently. For those who don't know, we managed to kick out our black tribal members. Boo. I've actually offered to do the genetic testing with all of the people who made that choice so that they can then kick us all out together. They haven't taken me up on it. I told them I'd pay for it. This one's for my mom. Shattered window mother. And in the daily sewing up, the welling, the antibiotic oils, the carefully edged handkerchief that never quite seems unstained with ghosted blood, it's the everywhere salt that makes some writers, the need to be seen by people who will know, who will understand that they must not notice the black threads holding in whatever can still be held in. A whole population who will look away from the marks of that thing, that only thing that can cut quite so deeply these days, and yet you reach for it after all these years. Years of evaluating, of weighing the crunch of the shards of the dust that stays in the wound, that grinds, that keeps it open, that opens the bits you don't bother to backstitch anymore, the rivulet pattern that we all agreed to squint might look like roots. Ouch. Yeah, it was. I used to spend a lot of my time making people laugh. But now it kind of depends on the audience. This one's called Infections and Narratives. It's hard to tell if this story is remembered or invented, and I'm in no position these days to know. Too many hours of poring over blankets and miscellaneous strips of weaving, and how many times can I catch the intended pox anyhow? There's that throat tickle of repeated history, and I confess that I can't pick one of them from the other anymore, either the threads packed by years of group delusion, repainted woodwork, and the deep desire for self-justification, for belonging. Our truth has stained this floor, has dyed your hems, and if the hum of history before the invasion isn't part of your dream soundtrack yet, it will be. Get an invocation like that, it does end up making everything sound a little bit more political than it might have been intended to be. I was a university professor for a while, and this was written after the first semester I taught at the university, lecturing in Indian studies on the eve of the millennium. Floored by the student's question, I try to see myself through his eyes, but I can't get past the woman in the mirror. Scarred lip and eyebrow, remnant, overly casual stance and drawl of an ex-bar fighter. I clear my throat. I could tell you how to get good at 9-ball, what bars in northeastern Oklahoma offer you a glass with your beer, or I could talk about today's topic, which is weeping. But if you want Indian wisdom about peace, you should avoid asking those with scars on their knuckles. I try to always bring Mary Jean to meetings. It's a good check. I was asked to be in an anthology called I Was Indian Before Indian Was Cool, but nobody who was born in the 60s has any right to claim that, because I think fundamentally the Beats had done their work by then and we were all sort of considered fairly cool. I know my dad was. My parents met in San Francisco. My father was career military and my mother was a hippie potter. And Mom was looking to marry an Indian to complete her street cred as a hippie. And Dad was looking to marry a pretty white woman so that he could have a trophy wife for his career in the military. And they are still married, bless them. So it works, some of it. You know? We find ourselves together for lots of reasons. I think a lot of Native life is a lot more prosaic than people think it is. So this was written for the anthology I Was Indian Before Indian Was Cool. Objects may be closer than they appear. Grandma sold Avon, delivered orders on bingo night to the last residents of Hawkerville there on the more or less unused tracks. When it meant cheese loaves, not with the swagger you see these days, but as a source of protein along with peanut butter the texture of spackle. The first words we could read were wash can. Sitting at Vicky's Cafe might mean mail delivery to your table, provided you sat towards the window. When it meant owning a dance outfit worth more on the open market than your car. It might be different if everyone on the turnpike stopped and sang when some part fell off the old Dodge, tired, rebent hanger wire finally giving way. When it meant more cousins than you could track, Mom and Dad not able to sit together in some restaurants because she was some pretty white city lady, and he was the most beautiful man ever, and I knew it was so that it wouldn't draw every eye and distract the universe. Gift clothing from the oh-so-generous matron from the bigger city. It belonged to her granddaughter. They were pretty okay, good enough, but too fancy to play in, so Ronnie would bring his second-best overalls for me so I could play anyway. When every man in town was my hero and every woman a magician, because I had no idea what they gave up every day, serving us little bits of themselves, bean soup, popcorn. We played in mine-tailing, swam in poison, and sometimes I still feel like that bit of hanger wire binding the side mirror on at an odd angle. Objects may be closer than they appear. In B-flat minor. Why is it that cultures are considered so much more beautiful in retrospect? The crayfish and I are getting angry, and we sing that song that helps the water boil our own cells. We sing that song ourselves. Sing it with us, cousins. The ones I've borrowed over this life in tepid water, but now I want it to boil, so let's sing, shall we? The curve of the frog bowl is lovely and may well get licensed for reproduction, and hey, why not? The gorge had originally carved into a section of human skull. You don't know why, and I don't either, but there you are wearing it at the benefit, and I have to just say, at the moment, I cannot muster much anger around that, but maybe my cousins will help me sing that old song, or maybe a new one, something to inspire some fire here in my middle age, to help me breathe some indignation for it, while the weather shifts in Oklahoma and along the Hiawassee, and we can watch old maps, the maps to places no longer there, melt off the rocks unnoticed in only an ambient heat.
That one was hot.
It's warm outside. Not my fault. I think I'm going to do two more. This one's called Home Songs. Always consider the possibility that you take yourself too seriously. That dry cleaners is built on the most sacred spot in 4 counties. It wasn't intended as an act of irreverence. They didn't ask, and we were too embarrassed for them to say. Yeah, sometimes I get angry. Most often when I can't find any dirty laundry so I can go pray. Just because you don't know the stories doesn't mean they're not there. It's been 10 years since I was home, but Jake doesn't even look up from the paper as I enter his store. Your grandma's out of flour. If you want tea, you have to buy it. The milk's probably soured. I love you too, old man. Humor and food are the trickiest cultural artifacts, but those overlaps do occur. My Polish and Chalagi relatives sat down one evening and enjoyed potato pancakes together. And then there was the afternoon of near delirium, 28 elderly Indians listening to Seuss in translation. You can actually translate Seuss into Cherokee pretty easily. You can get that same sort of rolling thing going on. It's very funny. It's too serious. Let's read something funny, shall we? Maybe not funny. Maybe just this one. Smuggling Cherokee. I unroll my map and a photocopy of the palm of my left hand, weigh it down with a fist-sized chunk of peach-colored flint, a barite rose, some gypsum, and a piece of ruby jack, and set it to work. There's a certain art to a good mistranslation. I remember rage and impatient violence, but these days I'm more likely to pile river rocks in the bathtub for a love of smooth things, things as edgeless as I can have them. That man asked me, do you speak Cherokee? But it's all I ever speak. The end goal of several generations of a smuggling project. We slipped the barriers, evaded border guards. I smile, always.
Merci beaucoup, Tim. That's all right. Life should be lived with feats, and rites, ceremonies, and rituals. This is how we become true to ourselves and our people, which is now the entire human race. Once shackled to a train were a group of Kiowa warriors who had been betrayed by a Kiowa chieftain by the name of Kickingbird. Inside that train on their way to Florida were Satanta the White Wolf, Old Satank, Mamaniti the Skywalker, which wasn't a slip of the tongue move, sorry, and the Owl. As they began their cross-country one-way trip, Mamaniti, the Skywalker, noticed that the owl was quietly chanting to himself. So he implored with his eyes, and the owl caught wind of it, and they looked at each other, and the owl just stared. And the Skywalker said, "The death chant?" And the owl put his head back down and continued. And it is said that next morning at dawn, the Kickingbird fell over dead, and the owl was also dead. So without further anything, my brother Luke Warmwater, where is he, man? Come on up.
Gesundheit. Ayaska. Half-breed I am, I tour the skin off-white, tinged brown, all Indian to white stock, Rapid City racist beyond. Sitting in wait, running.
Okay, I'm going to stop here, and I want to say this to you. Be kind to your neighbor. He knows where you live. Thank you. Thank you so much.